Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I can see a range of vibrant audience today, and I'm here not to teach you anything, not to guide you also, because you all are masters of your own chosen field, and masters don't need to be taught. Masters don't need to be taught, I believe. I can only share my life strategies and tactics that has made me excel in all the fields that I chose. So I start my journey when I was just a 23-year-old girl in Allahabad, a small town of Allahabad, and I wanted to join Indian Army. My father decided that I cannot join Indian Army. So there was a big tussle between me and my father and the entire clan that time. So he ensured I don't get any resource that will help me enable to get to the army. He was of the opinion that I cannot succeed because for various reasons. And he preferred me to getting married to the boy of his choice, that too who did not demand dowry. I was much against that. But then I took a break and I thought, what are the resources that are available to me? I was not given money to buy the book for SSB. I was not taken to a coaching center. I was not taken to the tracks to run, wherein I could build my agility, because agility is the first thing which is required in facing an SSB after the serious exam. So I had nothing. Now when nothing was there and every resource had been taken away from me, I knew I still had to win. I had to excel. I created what I did. I made best use of whatever I have. That is my mantra in my life. I believe in making best use of whatever resources are available at that point of time. So I begged, borrow and stole kind of a thing. I went to somebody, I took a second-hand book of SSB. I looked, there was a small 2 BHK house, and the terrace of that house was actually, a terrace is always a square place. It's not a track, you cannot run. I decided to run on that terrace. I started running at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, because a girl of 23 running in the afternoon or the evening on a terrace would have looked very stupid actually for all the people around. So I decided to run on the track so that my agility remains high. And that is how, when my father decided that no, you have to get married to that boy, the boy said yes, and the boy was waiting for me to say yes. I mean, I had no other option. I had no choice not to say yes. I had to get married. But then I knew I can make use of this opportunity as well. I backed my eyelids at that boy and I said, please tell my father that you will marry me even if he allows me to go to give my SSB interview. So that boy convinced my father, please allow her to go to SSB. I will still marry her because this is her desire to go. At least let her go and see what is going to happen there. So I went there, and as I was very focused, very determined, though I underplayed in front of everybody before going to SSB, I was the only one sitting at the Bhopal railway station with my father. My father agreed to take me there to SSB center, and out of 100 girls who were staying there, they mocked at me. Okay, look at this girl who has traveled with her father. How can she even become an army officer? She cannot travel alone also. And those days, I had actually not traveled alone. So I was the only one. Later on, there were just 25 vacancies all over India, and I stood 6th in the merit all over India. They were the ones who didn't get selected. So this is how I made use of whatever was not given to me or whatever was available to me. Now, when I went into the Indian Army, the biggest challenge was that I had to prove to the nation that I'm not a woman. Now see, such a big challenge. I was in a male-dominated profession, and I had to prove that I'm not a woman. I was a woman, so I adapted myself to the lifestyle, to the culture, to the various formats of Indian Army, wherein I could behave like a man, talk like a man, run like a man, and do everything like a man actually. Why? Because my soldiers were not accepting woman leader. They wouldn't salute me because I was a woman. They were from rural backgrounds. They were not that educated. They couldn't believe that a woman can be their boss or a leader, because I'm from the pioneer batch. Now it is not there. In 1993, and I got commissioned in 1994, it was a very difficult task for me to convince them that I'm a boss. So what I did, I forgot that I'm a woman. I converted myself to a complete man by doing everything that was expected of out of a male officer. I did not take any excuse that I'm on a gender basis, that I'm a woman, I can't do this. Whatever was given to me or whatever was not given to me, I still took it. I volunteered to various operations, anything, whether be it, I mean, since the time is less, I wouldn't be able to talk much about those days. There are many other instances we can talk about such things. But then, yes, I did prove. Now, once Indian Army did not allow me to move ahead after 14 years, because that time the women officers could only serve for 14 years. I was out of the Indian Army, and again I was lost, completely lost, again completely lost. I did not know, from somebody to nobody. I became from somebody to nobody. I knew I cannot survive being nobody. Now again there was nothing. There was nothing. It was peak of recession, 2008. Nobody was ready to give me a job outside. I was in Allahabad, small town of Allahabad, who couldn't pay me. Anywhere I would go for a job, they would say, madam, you are overqualified. We cannot afford to keep you. Now I had to become somebody. I had to get back to that. What I decided the most challenging thing, I wanted to become a part of a beauty pageant, not for winning, just to learn the nuances of being a woman in the civil world, because by virtue of proving myself for 14 years that I'm not a woman, I'd actually become a man by the end of my army tenure. So that struggle was very big. I had to now become a woman. Now how do I become a woman? There's no crash course for me to teach me how to become a woman. Beauty pageants, I decided to go there to learn, observe and adapt to whatever situation was there. So I went to GLADEX Mrs. India after winning Tanishq as well. Again there I realized I was the only odd person out. Now with two poses known to me, only two poses known to me, that was Savdhan and Vishram, I learned to pose on a beauty pageant ramp actually. I was walking like a soldier, I was standing like a soldier, I was actually nowhere like a beauty queen. In fact, I was not even like a woman, normal woman. But the challenge I accepted, so I adapted. Firstly, I observed. I was the most non-threatening contestant for all the 22 contestants that were selected pan-India out of 2,000 women contestants. I was the most non-threatening. Nobody knew that I could actually do. For me, I had never seen certain things in my life, because in the army, you don't get to see so many things. We live in a very cocoon kind of a life. We are in a station where we don't even, that time the gyms were also not there. When I went to GLADEX Mrs. India, I was introduced to a concept called gym. And gym had various machines, which I did not know how to even climb on that machine. I was like that ignorant. But I knew I have to learn. Learning was the most mandatory ingredient in my life. So I observed and I learned very quick. I challenged myself that I have to learn all these things. And that is how I learned. And when I walked the beauty pageant ramp and the grand finale, I mean, it was 30 days tenure, I stayed there. And my grand finale day, I was awarded the most vivacious Woman Award of 2009. Why? Because I remained original. I remained in the format of learning, completely always learning. And I started adapting to whatever was coming in front of me. Now, once I finished beauty pageant, I was out again. I had nothing else to do, know what to do. I had to survive. I was under a contract of 3 years with the modeling agency. Maureen Wadia has groomed me. So I was with a contract, but I was not interested in pursuing that thing because that was not my cup of tea. What I wanted to achieve from there, I'd already achieved and I had come back. So I, still being in my mind a very manly character, I wanted to take up a job which requires more of my manly skills actually. So I joined State Bank of India as a security officer. I was the first lady security officer there in Delhi. I joined. And then I realized that people are not again expecting me to behave the way I was groomed to behave. I again had to adapt myself to suit to the civil world. Now this was again a big bit of challenge because now I have to come down to a level wherein everybody accepts me. Again I adapted and I found a middle way to make myself visible, heard and accepted in the civil society. Just by, I never gave up. I never gave up. Giving up is not my way of life. I never give up. I always accept the challenges that come forward to me. And I in fact grab the challenges by the neck and I take on to the next level. After that, being in SBI, my energy levels were still high. My energy levels were very high. Now SBI was not giving me that platform to utilize my full energy. I knew my energy levels are high. I was at the peak of my life. At the age of 40, you are actually at the peak of your life, your energy levels are high. So I decided to connect with the world through my writings. Now I was not a born writer. In fact, in my class 7th, I failed in class 7th in my school, St. Mary's Convent, because I couldn't comprehend English and even Hindi. Neither Hindi nor English. Language was my very big barrier. And I had to, I wanted to write. I wanted to take this challenge to become a writer. So I started writing. And as Kanchan has already told about my books, you know, there are so many other books and I've been awarded Best Author. When I look back, I feel that I have been able to come a long way from failing in English language and failing in Hindi also. A new book, Kanchan, I have not been able to tell you. The new book called Ehsaas is about to come, which is a collection of Hindi poems. And that I wrote only during my lockdown and my quarantine period. I don't know Hindi typing, so I used my mobile just to make a typing thing there, and I sent 114 poems to the publisher during my quarantine period, during 14 days. So basically, I wanted to prove to myself that nothing is impossible, and I'm ready to adapt. I'm ready to take on the challenges, whatever challenges. Here I am today in front of you. I'm able to speak, though I know I'm not teaching you anything. I have changed my track. Whenever I have been working on a track which has not worked in my favor, I have been able to change my track completely. I go back to my start point and I restart my journey. I've always had challenges and I'm ready to take it as whatever will come. I have not stopped dreaming also. I have not stopped dreaming because I have not yet achieved what I wanted to achieve still. I dream to become the President of India one day, and I will be working on that as well. Thank you.